Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren here, owner of the Calgary Language Nerds, and welcome to today's French A2/B1 level lesson. If it's your first time coming across any of these videos, I'm in the middle of a series right now to guide A2 and B1 level French learners and help them reach a B2 level. In other words, if you have a little bit of a base in the French language, a little bit, you're not a complete beginner. My goal with these videos is to help you to make the jump from where you are now to an upper intermediate level. The upper intermediate level for so many French learners almost is the end of the line. For many people, that is like the finish line. That's the dream destination. That is like the place they want to be. And so I really want to help you to get there. Now, today we're going to continue along the same type of video that we've been making so far, which is really focused on vocabulary. One of the big gaps you have at this point in your language learning journey is high frequency, really common vocabulary that native speakers use that maybe you're not all that familiar with. Now, today's the one of the words, well, actually the word we're going to look at today really pairs with some grammar. So it's a bit of grammar, a bit of vocabulary, blended all together. And we're going to look at how to use the word autant. Autant. Let me share my screen and we can dive right in on this word. So autant, here we go. There's a couple of ways we can use this. Autant, we can combine it with a verb. Autant can also be combined with nouns. So two different ways to combine autant. So for example, we look at this sentence here. Tu travailles autant que moi. You work as much as me. Feel free to hit the pause button at any point, by the way, just to let some things sink in and just to really think about things. So tu travailles autant que moi. So you'll notice the rule we have is verb plus autant, and maybe we have que afterwards. Tu travailles autant que moi. You work as much as me. The second one here. Je n'ai pas autant dormi ce weekend. I didn't sleep as much this weekend. And the context with this would be something like, maybe last weekend you slept more, but this past weekend, no, you didn't really sleep as much. And so when we have autant attached to verbs, again, it means something to the effect of as much. If we look at nouns, kind of a similar meaning overall. It's like as much or as many. So for example, here we go. Il y a autant de voitures ici qu'hier. So il y a autant de voitures ici. We can do whatever, any kind of word here. Que la semaine dernière, qu'hier, whatever time word we want. There are many cars here as yesterday, last week, last month, whatever it is. Or if you look at the second one here, je ne veux pas autant de sucre. Je ne veux pas autant de sucre. I don't want as much sugar. When we look at this top sentence here, this is relatively important. So when comparing quantities of things, so using autant de, for example, we're always going to have de or a d apostrophe before whatever noun comes next. And so that's just always how that is. You'll notice it's always de, even if it's voiture in the plural. We don't have, for example, autant de. We never have autant de. It's always autant de. Now we're going to look at some more sentences here in a moment, just to do some practice. I'm also going to do some listening practice with you as well, with autant de. But before we do that, just a reminder, whenever we're learning grammar at the A2 level, or even B1 level, frankly, when we're learning grammar at this point in time, perfection is not the thing we're aiming for. Perfection is definitely not the goal. Fine-tuning and perfecting your French, quote unquote, that's more of a focus when we already have a B2 level. Or maybe you have a C1 level, you have a more advanced level. That's when we really focus on the perfection side of things. In fact, to be perfectly transparent with you, the perfection, quote unquote, side of things, or fine-tuning of things, that's something that I personally would work on myself in my French right now. That would be kind of the focus for me in many ways. I passed my C2 exam, or as a the C1/C2 is it's a different exam than what most people take. It was like a university exam when I was studying in France. It's a long story. But anyway, when I passed my C1/C2 certificate, that was like a long time ago. And honestly, like if I wanted to keep improving my French, fine-tuning honestly would be one of the things I may actually focus on. But at the A2 level, no, that's not the priority here. We have to prioritize our attention. Okay. So as we go through these different sentences, as we practice together, don't worry if it's not perfect. Don't worry if there's little mistakes. It's perfectly okay. So let me read you a couple sentences. You listen and try your best to understand. Okay, let's do this one here. Je ne cours pas autant que toi. Je ne cours pas autant que toi. Let's do this one here. Elle parle autant que ma sœur. Elle parle autant que ma sœur. Let's do one last one. Let's do another one here. Mon chien dort autant que mon chat. Mon chien dort autant que mon chat. Let's do a couple more, but autant de now, not autant like with verbs. Let's do autant with nouns. Let's do pourquoi tu achètes autant de pommes? Pourquoi tu achètes autant de pommes? We could also word this. Pourquoi est-ce que tu achètes autant de pommes? Pourquoi est-ce que tu achètes autant de pommes? Let's do this one here. Ma sœur a autant de vêtements que moi. Ma sœur a autant de vêtements que moi. All right, let's share my screen. Let's look at some of these sentences together. We're not going to look at all of them. There's just a whole bunch on my screen right now. So feel free to pause, by the way, and kind of read through these sentences on your own as well. We did this here. I give you the second half of the first one. Je ne cours pas autant que toi. I don't run as much as you. We did. I modified this one. I said elle parle autant que ma sœur. Elle parle autant que ma sœur. So she talks as much as my sister. And then we did as well this number 9. Mon chien. There we go. Mon chien dort autant que mon chat. So my dog sleeps as much as my cat. We did a couple in this section here with autant de. So we looked at pourquoi tu achètes autant de pommes, or pourquoi est-ce que tu achètes autant de pommes? Why are you buying so many apples? It reminds me of that scene from what's that from? What's that movie that has like, how do you like them apples? What movie is that? I can't remember anymore. Is that Good Will Hunting? I can't remember. Anyway, we did this one here. Ma sœur a autant de vêtements que moi. My sister has as many clothes as I do. And again, feel free to read through the rest of these here and just to see some more examples of how to use this. So that wraps up today's lesson here. Now, one of the ways that we can practice, let me just stop my screen share. One of the ways that you can easily practice this kind of thing at home, by the way, which I highly recommend if you do want to practice some of these grammar points, for example, is quite simply to use like any AI platform can honestly do it. Any kind of AI platform, Google's AI or ChatGPT, really anything, and just literally ask it, can you give me 10, 20, 50, whatever, practice exercises with autant? Or can you give me 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 practice exercises with tant, with this grammar point, with that grammar point, whatever grammar point you want. That is just like a really straightforward way to get some grammar practice at home. Now that we have AI platforms at our disposal. So that is that. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next A2 B1 French lesson. We're going to get to our B2 level together. I believe in you. Stick with it. You can do it. Bye-bye. Salut.